Hey gorgeous, today we're going to talk about what to do when all the words disappear and how to overcome writer's block. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Powerhouse. Vanessa Long here, coach, trainer, and creator of Discovering Your Passionate Purpose, the Business Building Foundations, and the Seasons of Success. It's time for your mojo moment in which I share one of my favorite inspirational quotes and then give you a power tip so you can take the inspiration and make it practical right away. For regular motivation, make sure you click subscribe and ring that bell. Our quote today is from the creative classic, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. This book was everything to me back when I was getting into writing. I recommend it so highly. And on page 13, Julia introduces the first tool of the Artist's Way, which is morning pages. So she says, 3 pages of whatever crosses your mind. That's all there is to it. If you can't think of anything to write, then write, I can't think of anything to write. Do this until you have filled 3 pages. Do anything until you have filled 3 pages. And just so you know, morning pages are a tool that she recommends that when you wake up first thing, the first thing you do is roll over, grab your journal, and hand write 3 pages of whatever is in your brain. It is a brain dump, verbal vomit, whatever you need to do, what you're happy about, what you're scared about, what you're excited about. It does not have to be good prose. It doesn't have to be beautiful, flowing poetry. In fact, most of the time it won't be anything at all other than your brain processing. And it's still one of the most powerful tools that I have ever seen or used to get the writer's muscle building. And that writer's muscle is something I've come to depend on pretty heavily. And so this past week has been very weird for me. I'm a pretty prolific content creator. I write almost every day. And in this past week, I've had nothing. Like I was talking to my husband and I said, I'm barren as the surface of the moon this week. I didn't have an idea. I couldn't string together a sentence on paper. I was trying to figure out what to do with the Mojo Moment quotes that I had scheduled to record for the rest of the month, and I couldn't think of anything. This is what we call writer's block. And thank goodness for my husband, because he just looked at me while we were making dinner and he said, well, why don't you just write about that and talk about that you don't have anything to say? And I went, oh, that's a brilliant idea. So here we are talking about nothing, talking about what to say when you have nothing to say. There are a lot of romantic ideas out there about being a writer, just like there are about being a coach, and this idea of the writer's lifestyle or the coaching lifestyle and how you can do no work and make loads of money. And here's the huge disservice that most of those online marketers do for us. They don't tell us the truth. They don't tell us that it doesn't matter whether you're being a writer or a coach or any other solopreneur where you have the laptop lifestyle and you get to travel and be anywhere you want while you work because you're using the internet. What they don't mention is that you still have to work really, really hard. You have to have intense discipline. You have to show up every day. In other words, you have to build those muscles of consistency that actually allow you to show up and do the work that you need to do to get the clients, not to serve the clients. That's the part that we really love as coaches, but to get the clients so that you can actually serve them. Running a business is much more than the technical thing that you do. And I talk about this a lot. Running a business is all of the systems around the technical thing that you do. And so whether you're a writer or you're a coach or you're a healer, whatever it is that you're doing to get your gifts out into the world, you have to realize that the vast majority of the business is not the thing that you want to do. And yes, as you get bigger, you can delegate out a lot of that, but until you know what it is and until you know what's required to actually succeed, you cannot delegate that out because you don't know what you don't know. So being successful is completely dependent on you being consistent and you being disciplined, you showing up day after day after day, whether you feel like it or not. And what Julia teaches in this book is exactly that the morning pages are a tool for discipline. What we would say in NLP is that they're creating a deep neurological groove. They're driving the habit of consistency deeper and deeper. Habit is you training your brain to show up day after day after day and to expect to have something to say. So it doesn't really matter if you feel like it or not, your brain is still trained to show up and write. An example of this would be my Tuesday morning love letter that I send out to my list. There were years, like a decade of years, where it was not consistent for me to send it out Tuesday mornings. Sometimes it would be every second week, sometimes I'd let weeks and weeks go by. But over 2 years ago, I put my foot down with myself and I said, that's it. This has got to happen every single week or I'm not being who I need to be successful. And since then, I haven't missed a Tuesday except for 1 week recently where there was a technological glitch, but I had it ready to go. And so what's happened over the years is it's gone from being hard to do the Tuesday newsletter to it being hard not to do the Tuesday newsletter. There are some mornings when I wake up and I think, oh, I don't want to do it. But then my brain grabs me and says, no, we've got to do it, we've got to do it. And it gets all hyped up and it gets totally motivated to do it because it knows that that's who we are. We have become the woman who writes a Tuesday morning newsletter. And hey, if you want to be on my Tuesday morning newsletter list, just click below and it'll take you to the subscription page. I do not over email, obviously, it's a Tuesday morning newsletter. And you'll get to see tips and resources every week for helping you to build that soulpreneur business that you dream of and desire with that steady flow of clients and profit. So that's linked in the description below. So getting back to the morning pages, those are a tool for discipline. They help you build that muscle. And if you're marketing online, which most of us are, you've come to realize that you are writing. You've probably heard content is king or content is queen. And it's so true. When you're online, you're in a primarily written format. Even if you're doing videos like this one, you're still scripting, you're still coming up with ideas, you're still telling a story, a narrative. You are delivering content to your audience. And in order for you to do that, you have to get good at writing. You have to get good at the writer's craft. So learning how to sell with your writing has also got to be on your list. Not only do you have to get good at writing and telling a story and crafting a narrative, you also have to get good at writing persuasively. How do you take someone who has just met you or has been in your world for a while and craft an offer that is so compelling that they raise their hand and say, yes, I'm willing to trust this person I've never met in real life because the value that they give me day in and day out is amazing. And I know that what will be in their paid offer is just as amazing. So even if you never thought that you would be a writer, congratulations, you are one. You've chosen a business where you need to do a lot of copy, a lot of content creation. So you might as well just get good at writing. And a big part of that is the discipline to show up and write every day. Where's your nugget of gold today? What did you learn, realize, or remember that you can use right away to make your life and business better? What's one idea that you could write about today that would help your ideal client make their life better? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you there. Help others to see this video by sharing it out with your powerhouse peers, clicking the thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when we put up new content, which is every week, which is another discipline that I've taken on to get my message out into the world. Do you see how that works? Okay, for you Mojo Masters who know how to hang around until the end of the video, here is your bonus power tip. Sometimes we need to be more disciplined. Sometimes we need to power through writer's block. We need to sit down and just write total crap until the words start to flow. We need this force. We need this very masculine pushing through so that we actually get what we need to get done. And we need to do whatever it takes to get around, over, under, through that block that's in our way. And writing pages are great for that. But sometimes it's something else, and you need to develop the discernment to know which one it is. Is this my ego and part of my unconscious mind having a hissy fit and throwing up a block that I need to work around and through and get coaching on? Or is there something else happening? And what I realized was that for me over this past week, it was something else. August was a hugely creative time for me. I created the entire course of Plant for the Seasons of Success. I produced a ton of content. I've been creating new marketing strategies, continuing with these mojo moments. I have been putting out a lot of content. And what happened over the last week, and I talked to God about this because I was wondering where the words had gone, was that my well was empty. And this is another thing that Julia Cameron talks about in The Artist's Way, which, by the way, I've linked in the description below so you can go check it out. In the past week, I've realized my well was empty. The feeling barren as the surface of the moon is not a normal block for me. It was actually exhaustion. My creative muscles were so tired. It was like I've run an Ironman with my writing and I just need to rest. So the divine patted me on the head, as it so often does, and said, hey butterfly, just take a couple of weeks off. So I have, and I am. I'm taking it easy on the content creation. Yes, I'm doing this video because that's my commitment, but I'm not worried about putting out tons and tons of posts and tons of content. Instead, I'm burying my face in inspirational books, in motivational things. I'm watching some videos. I'm taking it easy. I'm getting lots of sleep. I'm eating well, drinking lots of water, taking care of my divine temple. If the body isn't healthy and I don't feel nourished and luscious and high vibe, then I'm not going to put out the content that creates a high vibe business, which is what I need to attract my ideal clients. Self-care is non-negotiable when you're building a soulpreneur business, when you're building a service-centered business that is based on your mission. If you're here to change the world, then you need to take care of your body. You need to take care of your mind. You need to keep them nourished. You need to keep them well tended. And sometimes that means just backing off from the intense creation schedule, taking it easy on yourself, and showing yourself some serious love. If you want to get on that Tuesday morning love letter list, then just click the link in the description. It'll take you right to the sign up. That's it for this week's Mojo Moment. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video with loads of awesome content from this nourished temple.